foot on African soil. That's when I get in touch with African style. The Africans and show me African smile. African talent that are well versatile. See the African very calling artist. African the wisest, African the smartest. The mentor, the voice, and the Jones are the artist. Zimbabwe, we are the breakfast. Listen up. I'm slanging at the nation. Back again with the remix selection. From London to Zimbabwe, all the Africans know we stop the party. And if you know it, put one out in the air. Scream and shout like you just don't care. African people, if you're strong and proud, repeat after me and say, Africans out of me. Africans out of me. Africans Zimbabwe.
An African child, Zimbabwe is where I be from. They be checking my style, my swag, my flow. Can't push me cause I know I'm sweet. Got diamonds and gold in Africa, rhythm and blues in Africa, beautiful women in Africa.
Resident from Zimbabwe, all of my trade in the street of Ferrari, but I was born in a jingle, and that's why me talking a lingo. Imbai, kananga nyimbo, mripa mwichete, na PK, Kaz and JJC, we one big family, because we are Africans out of we are Africans out of we are Africans Zimbabwe, yeah, we are Africans, we are Africans out of we are Africans, come on, Africans.
Me a roll out the ghetto, me a youth from Africa. King Selassie rule from out of Africa. The best body girl come from Africa. All the diamonds and gold from Africa. 27 years him spent in a prison just to liberate people in Africa. Nelson Mandela. From Niger to Zimbabwe, UK back to Africa.
We never culture rare as denial. Everybody on the African style. Our music make you go wild. I know you get it. We flex, we dress to impress. We call for the best, put us to the test. And it ain't no stress, no settle for less. Cause we are Africa.
Africans out of we are Africans out of we are Africans Zimbabwe. Yeah, we are Africans. We are Africans out of we are Africans.
Africans, we rise for the prize. Africans, we rise. Ain't no lies. Africans, we rise. Yes, we rise. I won't tell no lie. We will rise. Even though we spread out all over the world. Africa, you know how we roll forever. Home is in the heart, and we never parted. Wherever we go, we walk, we talk, we spread the love to let them know that we are Africans. In the army, in the army, in the army, I'm gonna hear you say, in the army, stand up and say, in the army, I'm gonna hear you say,
Africans, we rise. We are Africans. Louder. Africans, we unite. We are Africans. Rise up, rise up, rise up.
Wow, good morning, good people. Welcome to another exciting episode of Tough Love Giggles on your go-to online radio station, After5Radio, dedicated to celebrating Africans in the diaspora. I am your host, aka the Hive Lady, Miss Tando Amy, coming to you live all the way from Canada. And today we have a Canadian guest based here in Canada. And I am so excited to be joined by the lovely Grace Chenesai Vela, who is the founder of You Deserve Grace. She's a passionate advocate for community wellness and the visionary behind the upcoming Lion Hearts of Africa men's Health Conference 2025. And you know how I'm so passionate about men's mental health, emotional and social well-being, and equal justice, or you name it, anything to do with supporting our men out there. And this is going to be in Chobe, and Chobe is in Botswana, about an hour away from Vic Falls, and it's more of a centralized place. She's going to tell you all about it, where everybody is able to come through, right? From Namibia, from Zimbabwe, from Botswana, you name it. So yes, it is actually going to be there. And the conference is all about empowering men across the SADC region, which is the southern part of Africa, honey. Just, talking about health, wellness, meaningful conversations. So help me welcome Mrs. Grace Vela to the station. How are you, Grace? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is a pleasure to have you here. And yes, we can see you here. You're loud and clear. Right now, she's a bit, out there in the world, in the not wild. There's not much wildlife this summer, is there? Well, except for bears, but. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the network is a bit slow. But anyway, let's just dive right into it. Right. I think earlier on, where you were earlier on is a bit better. Was a bit better.
Thank you so much again. Yeah, no, I didn't move, but I think with network, we thank God for Elon Musk. We're not going to, promote that right now, but we've got opportunities nonetheless.
Yeah,
we've got opportunities nonetheless to be out in the wilderness. And the idea, it's funny that we're having the conversation about the men's conference, because the idea is about being out in the wild and connecting, right?
Exactly.
Connecting with nature. Part of it, includes sleeping under the stars, and the whole idea is about disconnecting, because there really is a blessing, being out in nature and being able to do that. It makes an absolute big difference for people. And especially when you're used to always being on the go, right? Your phone is your business. Your phone is your network. A lot of professionals, they are the whole business,
Exactly.
And it's like, if I'm not present, there's not a dollar being made.
That's it. So that's it. That is
important
so legit.
Sacrifice.
So before we actually get like the men's conference and all that fun stuff, who is Grace? What is Grace all about? Because people are like, okay, Amanda, we're talking about the men's conference. Good idea, good stuff. We love it. But who is this lady behind this idea? Because I was telling you behind the scenes that there's one time I got a backlash, when I was like, you know what? I feel like sometimes the support of women relating to men's mental health, emotional, social well-being, you name it, is very crucial, in as much as I know some men might think, oh no, who do you think you are to want to represent us, or to think you can actually speak for us? But we're not speaking for you. We're here to support you, however way we can, right? So before we get into that, who is Grace? Why men's conference? Yet you're a woman. We live in a woman's world where woman this and that. So over to you, Grace.
No, I think 100%. It's a great question to ask. My whole professional life in Canada was in financial services. And so doing that, you're working with high net worth individuals, business people. There's a lot of isolation, I think, really within the business community. And when you have a certain amount of money, there's a stigmatization, but what we call first world problems, right? Like, you can't complain about certain things even though you haven't hit your goals. You have things you want to do, and you end up in a position where you can't discuss them with others. And I was always that professional, right? For the last 17 years that I was on that side. I was on that team. I was the person that my clients could reach out to and have that conversation with, right? About things that were going on with their business, their successes, right? Like, I was that chick where, I've got $2 million I need to invest, we're having that conversation. And it was so amazing how isolating that is, how isolating success can be.
Yeah.
And even in business, girls, there's a level of like, I can't talk to anyone because of that competition issue, right? Like,
Mm,
how much in terms of trade secrets do I give out versus being able to work as a team on some of
right.
this, right? And so coming from a commercial banking background, I got to see some of that as well, right? And how,
Mm,
the best businesses work well together, industry support. It goes a long way, when you're able to help each other out. And so with that background, my MBA in finance, going back to Zim and working in Zim back and forth, it was so evident that,
mm,
I love traveling. That was the other
right.
part of it. So I actually did a trip from Cape Town to Cairo
Hmm.
by bus, boat, ferry, whatever it was, ground, all the way up, over six
Wow.
weeks, solo, just to say that.
Yeah.
Had amazing conversations with people along the way in every language that I don't speak as well.
But thank God to technology. You got the translator on your phone. You
Google
got all that
Translate will
fun stuff
lie.
now. Yeah.
But it was great. But I learned in that trip, I really learned that the isolation of our economies from each other within the SADC
Oh, how
region, within
so?
Africa,
Yeah. Hmm.
is what's actually keeping us from growing. There's
How
so much
so? Hmm.
synergy
Hmm.
that's possible, but we have barriers to be able to create those relationships. Because as much as people are like, oh, Angola has, oil reserves that are,
Hmm.
really big, but African countries are still buying oil from Dubai.
Hmm.
If I own an oil company in Zim, who do I know in Angola
Hmm.
to start doing business over there? If I own it in
Yeah.
Zambia, who do I know?
True.
Right. So, but the thing is, we're all doing the same things in the different countries, but in
Mm,
isolation from one another. And if we were to
mm,
able to, like, I saw a coffee thing in northern Mozambique, a coffee farm, and then I was on a coffee farm in Uganda. Their challenges are the same.
are you serious?
Challenges are the same. The markets they're trying to reach are the same. But for me to be able to be like, yo, you should go meet that coffee farmer over there, because we're a lot of indigenous communities that are just starting up, right? So Uganda
Right,
has a thing where they are giving out seedlings to farmers to restart their coffee industry.
right,
If you look at Zimbabwe, that's exactly our pitch right now. If we want to
right,
restart our coffee industry.
right.
So being able to be on the ground and seeing all these different start stops in different
Mm,
countries, it was like, no, we need to put this all together.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
like what
Eye
I learned
opener. Like,
two
I
months
find when
ago,
you,
I can
sorry, go
tell you
ahead.
about it.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, it's like what I learned 2 months ago about something, I can come tell you about it, right?
Mm,
We're in different countries, so we're not direct competitors.
right, yeah.
So all of a sudden we can have a conversation, right?
Mm.
And it's hard to know who to trust, right?
Tell me about it. And I honestly wonder, it is so sad how, as Africans, we have to compete with each other rather than support each other.
Yeah.
Because look at how the Western is coming to Africa, knowing that Africa is a rich continent, yo. It's
hmm
just that we don't know how to make use of our
Yeah.
resources, unfortunately. And then there's a lot of competition, and then there's a
Yeah.
lot of greed. Ooh, I
Well,
don't want to use that word.
no, but
But
what's funny, I'm not going to call it's protectionism, right? Living in Canada, if you think about it, we're also a resource-rich country, but
true.
we have the same issues between provinces
Well,
that Africa does. Like, how are you going to
totally
have
get it.
tariffs in the same country? If you want to import lumber from the US and you're in Alberta, the
Yeah,
tariffs
yeah,
to the US are 20%. The tariffs in
yeah.
Ontario are 25%.
Right,
Make
right.
it
No,
make sense.
whew, okay. We're not getting into the Canadian economy right now because it is a whole different ball game, a whole different gun show.
Yeah.
Already people do not even understand that each
Mm.
province has its own federal law or information and what have you, right? So it's like help me understand, but
Right. Well,
you
if
know
I go to
what?
Alberta, I'm in Alberta for the weekend. If I go to the hospital here, I'm going to have to pay a $40 consultation fee, go to BC, and then submit my receipt. Yeah.
Anyway, SADC, as we were still saying, back to Africa. So what
Yes.
inspired you then to start You Deserve Grace, and how did that evolve into organizing the Men's Health Conference?
Yeah. Life, rhythm and
Mm,
flow. With You Deserve Grace, it really came out of me leaving formal work. I used to only be able to work with high net worth clients. So people would call me for advice, and it's like, I don't have the training in your area to be able to
mm,
give you proper advice, right? Because I'm
okay.
only equipped to deal with larger sums or larger deals.
Mm.
And so stepping away from the corporate space, it was, you know what? You can come to me. You can come to me. Everybody deserves grace, like it's all good.
But then
Um,
wasn't it a part of conflict of interest? Think about it, because sometimes they say, oh yeah, once you leave your former work, if
mhm,
it's something that was in line with what you were doing, they
right.
consider that conflict of interest.
So what I did was completely advisory, because I'm a firm
Okay.
believer that if you're
Mhm.
doing something, you want to work with a licensed advisor, whether it's, business
Okay.
lending or whatever, because those
Yeah.
are the people with the current up-to-date tax training and all this and that, right? I'm
Mm.
not keeping my licenses and I'm not current. What I could
Okay.
do is
Gotcha.
broad strokes advice, and then,
Mm.
recommend, who you're working with. Because sometimes, especially for us coming from Africa and here, sometimes you need somebody to help you direct the conversation,
Yeah.
right? Because if somebody doesn't understand you, they can't invest your money a certain way, right? Because they can only do what they believe you understand.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah.
being able to have that conversation with people, and then we, boil down things and we're able to drill down, then it's like, okay, this is the type of communication you need to be having. So
Right.
that's how it started with that. And then when I was in Zim, and when I go, a lot of people will, reach out and say, I'm looking at starting this business. I've sent my bum Nini to go do this and that. And you're like, dude, you're opening a clinic and you're sending a guy with Form 4 education to do the paperwork for you. I
No, but
don't
then
think he's
again,
stealing
but
from
then,
you.
like you
You know what I mean?
said, Zimbos are hustlers, yo. Like, think about it. Zimbos are hustlers. So it's
They
like
are, but it's
the
been
best
about
way I
matching
can
people.
save. But then again, if some people, it's like the best way I can save is through, going through my bum nini.
But sometimes, and there's so many synergies. Like we have a
Yeah.
diaspora advantage, right? We have access to
Yes.
capital this side. They have
Yeah.
access to the ground. So it was a bit of that matchmaking when I was
Okay.
there, being able to,
Mhm.
meet people. I'm networking down there. And then I can look around and say, oh, but you're interested in this. I met someone who's doing that on a smaller
Mm.
scale. I can
Yeah.
introduce you. Right.
Yeah.
And then you're able
Yeah.
to meet someone that Bamnini can go and talk to. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
elevate what we're
Yeah.
doing. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that partnership that's rooted in, I actually, have a background of who you are. We're making these physical connections. It's not inbox me. Right.
Right.
It's this
Exactly.
person that I know has met with them, seen what they're doing. My bum Nina is able to come in now as a go-to there. We're able to move faster, right? It's what helps
Mm.
businesses grow on every level. We're able to
Mm.
leverage that diaspora dollar and make
Mm.
it work, and so,
Right.
and doing the financial and the business consulting, that's how it looked between the two countries, right?
Mm.
And then the travel piece was, I'm an urban traveler. I know I'm out in the bush and we're all going out in the bush, but
Yeah.
I firmly believe we underestimate what urban travel in Africa looks like. Like I'm heading
Really?
out to Zanzibar for my
Yeah.
birthday, and there's a full moon party that's there on, one of the days when I'm out there.
Check
And
you out.
like the lineup that's there is amazing. There's DJs from the UK, local DJs. Like it's in
Mm.
Tanzania, but they've got artists
Mm.
from all over Africa that are performing. And it's like 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. kind of thing.
Oh my gosh,
But
you
like,
still have the energy? Whew.
no, I'll be out like 10:30, 11. I know myself.
Wow.
My
Right?
bedtime's early.
Right. Yeah, I know. But me and my girlfriend, well, not just my girlfriends, even just my friends, like my guy friends, are like, oh my gosh, Amanda, I don't think I can even stay up for a good 3 hours.
Right.
I'm like, trust me, I get you.
Right.
It reminds me of back in the days when we used to get out at 6 a.m. When you're in Zim, you're like competing with the sun,
Well, I think we used to do that only because you had no way to get home in the dark. You had to wait
True.
until daybreak. I
But
mean,
then at
that's
the
a
same time,
reality.
you wouldn't think about home though. You wouldn't think about all of that though. It's like you're having a good time, yo.
Yes.
I feel personally. So it's one of those where people are like, oh yeah, how about, if you travel and then we go clubbing, I'm thinking, what? Go what? Like,
Yeah.
I think, when you're like, you've done it all and you're like, the time, like, no, like, I don't have the
Mhm.
time. Like, my brain is telling me go rest, man. But you know what? But when you travel, it's one thing to say, you know what? It's a couple of days that you're away.
Mhm.
Make the most of whatever time you have, right?
Mhm.
So,
I can rest
and
when I
it's
get home.
celebrating your birthday too, right? So it doesn't matter. And when you get back, you sleep on the flight because
Exactly.
sometimes
Yeah.
when you're coming back from vacation, sometimes you're just getting back into work, right?
Yeah.
Like the next day is like, okay, back to work. I'm thinking, yo, I don't know how people do that. Me, I take a day or two. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that one. I'm definitely not doing that one. But no,
The
that
jet
that
lag.
is awesome. Yeah, and
The
also
jet.
Tanzania. Tanzania is known for like the scenery, the
Mhm.
beach, everything. Like Tanzania is one of my
Right. But exactly
on my
what you
bucket list.
said.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I promote urban travel, urban tourism, because
Ooh, yeah.
Tanzania has museums. Like amazing
Yeah.
museum. Kenya has like
Yeah.
one of the best natural history museum that I think everybody and their mother who's of Black origin needs to go. Because remember, that's the cradle of Africa. Like that's the cradle of the
Yeah.
world. That's where Lucy was found, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
history. It was a Nomani colony, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
Zanzibar
that
was
part.
like the capital of all of that with Mombasa.
Mm,
I think it's Madagascar. There's another one. Like, so they have so much history, like within the
mhm.
museums, within the old towns. Like it's amazing. Right.
Right.
And then you've got your I'm a big arts fan, right? But you've got your
Mm,
sports, imagine. So
mm.
I curate trips that encourage you to be out in the city, meeting
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
locals. And yeah, I my tagline is anything but safaris.
I was about to say, okay, my next question was going to be because of what you just said out of our questioning
No.
is so what's better? That's what I was about to ask. Like, what's better financially? Think about it, right? Because at the same time, a lot of
Mm,
people, they think Africa equals safari. Which is
yeah.
beautiful, right? Like
Mhm.
when you see the pictures and what have you, experience it
Yeah.
even better and all that fun stuff. But then they're trying to run away from that urban
Mhm.
lifestyle because here in the Western world, this is what we experience. We get to leave and
Well,
what
I
have
think
you, right?
it, it's
But
it's really weird because it's almost like a
mhm.
reverse racism. Like I live in Vancouver, so in some places I'm the only
Ooh,
Black person there, right?
yeah, yeah,
So imagine being a white person and dropping in the middle of Nairobi, in the middle of Harare and walking around, going to Joiner City. Like it, you know what I mean? So they feel
right,
that, right?
right.
Where they feel at home in Africa is with the animals. And so
I
and
guess.
so it's yeah, so there's a bit of that discomfort of being around people who
Mm,
don't look like you. And a lot
mm,
of the urban planning that's been done right now is by NGOs. So it takes you to
mm.
orphanages, it takes you to the slums, it
Okay,
doesn't take you to the local shops, like
right.
Tanzania has a big port with Dar es Salaam, right? They've got
Mm,
amazing shops and amazing markets, but if you look, the only market they really advertise is the Maasai market, which is a traditional cultural market, not the
right.
whole like you can pick up your whole winter wear wardrobe for $20, with everything coming off the boat from Turkey and Dubai and stuff like that. They're not going to tell you go there. Um, so
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, true.
but if you're coming from Canada or going somewhere, for sure, I would spend a day in Kariako in that market and get all your
Right,
clothes. You know what I mean? Do all you don't
right.
bring a suitcase. Just buy everything there.
Exactly. Just buy everything there and then of course you pay when you're coming back. But yeah,
Yeah. And I
because
mean, like talking about the conference again, like one of our
yeah.
speakers, Jibram, he's from Malawi. And
Okay.
his company is called Cinematics. And one thing that he said, we've got some videos on my YouTube channel that cover all the different speakers and what they're talking
Mm,
about. And he was saying, he's a younger guy, so it's about dealing with communication and drugs and stuff like that, within the
oh, nice. I
family.
like
That's the
that.
area he's
Yeah.
covering off. And he said one of
Okay.
the things about being an African, because I was just talking about Dar having a port, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
He was saying with Malawi, switching that mindset from saying we're landlocked to being land connected, leveraging
Ooh,
that.
I like
Do you know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Right.
Ooh, then connected. I
And so
know.
just
I
being
know.
able to be like, okay, I'm at this conference. Tanzania's in the SADC region. I'm in Malawi,
Mm,
right? And he's in the freight business as well. right? So being able to connect with the different professionals in the different countries in the SADC region, right? All of a sudden, you've got a connection in that port in Dar. All of a sudden, you're not just, coming from landlocked Zimbabwe, Zambia, or whatever. You're actually now land connected, and we're building that network, within the SADC region to move business.
Oof, I need to write that down. Definitely. I need to write that down. That
I
was
know, right?
good.
You gotta
That
watch
was
the
really
videos.
good. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
would
watch the
definitely
videos.
watch the
Some
video
really
on
good.
YouTube. And for those who are
Some
wondering, okay,
really
what YouTube channel are you talking about? We're actually talking about Grace's YouTube channel. Please do actually go follow her on YouTube. Here we go. Yes, Deserve Grace. Look for her on YouTube, get more information, get to see what she's all about, and all the planning that she has relating to this men's health conference 2025. So another thing though, why men rather than women? Because you know how it's
Yes.
right now we live in a woman's world where it's like, okay, if you're not supporting a woman, you're literally sort of by your own. But so why then men's conference? And did you also get a backlash to say, who do you think you are as a woman supporting women, yet we have to fight for our space?
So our MC, his name is Dimfayo Chicken. He's from Namibia. And his company's called Free Your Mind Entertainment. So it's an entertainment production company. He's also a comedian, which you don't think of when you think of like Africans. But yeah, he's a comedian as well. And in Namibia, they have a first gentleman because they have a female president. And so one of the initiatives that they're looking at right now strongly in Namibia is, and actually 2026's conference is going to be in Namibia, by the way. Let's put that out there. So one of the initiatives they're working on is empowering the boy child. And so in the video with him, he actually talks about that, how when you want to do things for men, it's important to realize that you're doing it for the whole community. Because we've gotten to a point where we've empowered women and empowered the girl child to the point where men don't know how to live with an empowered woman. And so you've got situations where women will go to workshops.
Willow on that one. No. Willow on that one, please. We've empowered, because
Just
that's
dropping tidbits.
yes, that's a mic drop statement right there. Because you know what, you find, you hear all the statements, strong women this, strong women that, because we've empowered the girl child, considering how our mothers were raised, and then they wanted to change the narrative, like, no, you know what, I want to empower my baby girl because of ABCD, and then neglect the boy child, right? But then again, now we're thinking beyond that, because it's like, okay, so how best can we help a boy child or the boy child, and say, you managed to help the girl child. The girl child is more than educated right now, but then now the boy child is being infuriated by this, education and all that weird stuff. So I love it. How do you
That's about live with an empowered woman? Yeah. And so it worked, like, so that's
like
what
that.
his angle was, right? It's not a competitive world. We still need each other.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but how do we do this in a balanced way? And so Sebastian Zuze and his son Anthony from Chenesai Wealth and Advisory, they talk about that, how in the family dynamic, when the father passes away breadwinner, or something happens to him, he loses his status, financially, right? He loses his status financially, but also culturally. Right, you start getting sidestepped if somebody else is paying your kid's school fees for you, right? Like, there's a certain level of like decisions start being made around you, not with you, right? Or even when the father passes away, all of a sudden it's just the next son up, with no training, no preparation, kind of thing. And so by empowering men to have these conversations, open up to one another, you're hoping you're creating generational wealth, right? Because generational wealth is not just money. It's education, it's culture, it's communication, and being able to create those bands within families, right? Where we're now opening up avenues and channels, goes a long way. And it's different in the African context. Like, there's no way to, like, we can't compare to here, to Canada, to North America. It's absolutely different when you're dealing with wealth and the African context and that isolation, right? Some men are not okay, but they don't have an option to say, I'm not okay, because they know what comes with saying I'm not okay, losing their position, right? We've all watched Mufasa.
Losing the position,
We've all
being
watched The
told
Lion King. Like, we know what it
exactly,
is.
men
And
up, you're
unfortunately,
being a, yeah, all those statements. Yeah, I totally get it. No, but that is
hence The
amazing.
Lion
Like, I
King.
love your initiative. I love everything about it. I love the fact
Thank
that,
you.
you're like, how best can we help them cope or to understand or to catch up?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's literally catching up with,
And create
something.
community, because
Exactly. Create
community is what they
community.
need. And sometimes you can't, like, imagine you own like a successful hardware franchise in Zim. Who are you going to
Yeah.
go talk to?
Ooh,
About challenges they're having. You're not necessarily going to feel good about talking to your competitor, right? But if you
yeah,
can talk
yeah,
to someone else in a different country that's in your
yeah.
industry, right? It
Hmm.
makes a huge difference because we're dealing with the same suppliers. One thing I
Exactly.
really work on is bringing visibility to businesses in Africa, right? And part
Mm,
of that reason is because we need to create those supply chains.
that's
But
it.
those supply chains are not going to be built, necessarily on the internet. They're going to be built by
Mm,
relationships. And
that's
so the
it.
sooner
Yeah.
we get business owners, professionals, there's so much, like, I remember someone telling me a story about going to the US. They moved to the US and they needed an eye surgery done. And the surgeon in the US said, "You're coming from Zim, one of the best ophthalmologists or whatever, the eye doctor things in the world is in Zimbabwe, a black Zimbabwean doctor." And he was just like mind blown that he was being told by a doctor in the US. But because of visa situations and stuff, right? Not all our professionals are always out there, at the different conferences and speaking and
Wow.
publishing and promoting themselves, right? Because they can't get to
Yeah.
these places where the big, channels are. And that's why it's important for us to be able to create these networks, for us to be able to elevate our individual voices, right? And so I'm not
Hmm.
there in the conference as a man. They're running the show themselves. I'm there on the marketing and promotion side, doing the work, putting it together. So there's not going to be a little Grace in the room listening in. This is them. They've got
And hence
Stanley
the reason
Zuayo
we're
from.
here marketing the event too anyway. So this is it. You're
Exactly, that's
doing
what we're
it. You're
doing.
doing it.
Yeah, they've
That's
got
it.
Stanley Zuayo from Zim. His company specializes in prosthetics and just being able to make them affordable, right? And part of that
Mm,
issue we have in Africa is volume. Because if you're in
right.
Zim, you're dealing with 16 million, right? But if we're able to put together the SADC market, is what their company wants to do. All of a sudden, you've
Mm,
got volume. You can now compete with India and China, right?
mm, mm.
But you can't tell people, buy from me because I'm African. It has to make sense,
It
right?
Everything has to make sense.
Exactly. Like proper sense and
Right.
dollar sense.
Exactly. So, what makes Chobe such a unique and meaningful location? We spoke about this earlier. I'm like behind the
Hmm.
scenes, right? Yes. What makes
Yeah.
it so unique and meaningful for this event in specific?
Right. So one of the cool things, we were out in Botswana looking. I was helping with a business deal. I was helping somebody evaluate a business deal out in Botswana. I had a chance to meet with Bear Long from Kalafi Medical Group in Botswana.
Hmm.
They're the first Indigenous hospital group in Botswana, and they're not just focusing on building hospitals in the big cities, but they're also focusing on building. Building healthcare across the country, even in smaller communities, right? And so when we were talking and brought up the men's health conference, he was like, we'd love to support you guys. This is exactly what we're talking about. So we settled on Chobe, and it made sense because it's very close to that Kazungula Bridge where
Mm,
the four countries meet, right? So you're an hour from Big Falls, about 45 minutes from Livingston, and Namibia shares a border right there, and then Botswana. And it's a national park, and it's that river, connects right into the Zambezi. I'm like going like this, It's like it connects into the Zambezi, but it's such a huge, meaningful connection point. But
right.
it's also within nature, right? It's where the four
Mm,
countries meet. And so it just allows us to be able to say this is not a Zimbabwean initiative. This is a
mm.
SADC region initiative. And leading it there just makes so significant to that.
Right. No, that is awesome. You heard it for yourselves, guys. It is a bit more central for the southern region of Africa, and we look forward to to this event and what it's going to bring. So please do
Mhm.
follow Grace, so you can get more information, how you can be a part of it, how you can join the experience and all that fun stuff. So talking about the experience though, what can attendees, like people who want to come, expect from the conference program, key sessions, speakers, highlights? You've kind of mentioned a bit of those people, right? But just getting into depth, what to expect, who else, especially talk about people coming from Zimbabwe too, right? For people who in Zimbabwe, like, okay, so why should I go? Yet you're, you know, like, I feel, yes, it is Southern, but for me, I also want to come and see my fellow Zimbabwean doing it, because you know how some people have this mentality where, you know what, our country, we're struggling in our country, but then how can I make it and what have you? But if I hear some other Zimbabwean making it, that can give me hope.
Absolutely. Yeah. So pickups in Vic Falls for those that are coming in on the Tuesday. So we've got a shuttle coming in from Vic Falls. We'll head out. We'll have lunch at the conference center. The conference center is where we're going to have all our meals. We're going to have breakout sessions. And so on the Tuesday, when we arrive, you can expect to just have a free flowing networking session where you just get to meet the others that you're with. Tuesday evening, we've got our keynote speakers. So Dr. Verlong is going to be leading that session. He's the managing director of Kalafi Medical Group. And then on the next day, we've got workshops. And so right now, the workshops are going to be broken out. You'll have the opportunity to pick one with dealing with drugs in the family. The other one is succession planning, retirement in the African context. And so the two workshops, so you'll get to pick one of the two. So there'll actually be small group sessions in those workshops, and then you'll have the chance to bring it back to the main group. We've got Dr. Nixon Mapesa. He is the MD as well as the CEO, I believe, of PSMI. So Premier Services Medical Group in Zimbabwe. And so he'll be speaking to us, especially on that digital aspect. He's a big proponent of digital technologies out there. Dr. Bandawe from Malawi. So he's going to be talking to us on mental health. He's actually the first clinical psychologist from Malawi. He was educated in Johannesburg, and he's been in the field. And just listening to him, we've got a little short thing with him. He talks about mental well-being, right? So enjoying your success. He actually talks about that. And that's what that session is going to be. So it's not like you're crazy. How are we going to deal with it? It's the stresses, it's the actual, how do you enjoy without feeling guilty? He talks about self-care for men and how this is self-care, right? And so just being able to feel comfortable in your skin and so that's a big part of him. And so when we have lunch, when we have the other sessions in between, you'll have the opportunity to mix and mingle with all of the with the others in the room. And so we're gonna have all our speakers available at all times. So if you're, and I mentioned Jibram, right, and Chiedza. So when you're in the room, you have the opportunity to be with everyone, hopefully get to know each other on different levels. And so you don't have to worry. I think there are some from Harare that are thinking about carpooling together. So definitely get your registration in, because then we can organize the carpooling. Some are coming up from Gaborone because it's actually Botswana's Independence Day. That's how we chose the date.
That's gonna be
so
cool.
It's a national holiday there. So there's some coming up from Gabs. They're doing the Sleeping Under the Stars and the Makarigari Salt Springs along the way. So they'll have a shuttle bus that's taking them from down there as well, and then coming up that way. So an absolutely, full rounded experience the whole time. So so you'll have the workshops and then the speaker sessions. On the Thursday morning, we'll have breakfast, and then we've got one more speaker who's gonna be upset with me for forgetting who they are right now. Programs going out on our Facebook page, Lionhearts of Africa, this week. I should have posted it in the event discussion this week, so they can see the full layout of the program this week.
No, we'll actually get to put like on the comments, just for people to we'll put it down on the comments so people can actually pick through and see what's what.
Oh, Dr. Chagonda.
Oh, there you go.
So he's actually, like, for like soccer fans who are used to him. He's the dude you'll see on the pitch running after the soccer players. The Zimbabwe soccer players. So he's the chief medical officer there. And
Okay.
so, we talk about fitness and athletes and the lessons you can learn from athletes about maintaining
Mm,
your own physical well-being. So that's the
mm,
part he's talking about. So you don't have to worry about, because a lot of people think, oh, I got to go weightlifting, got to do this. But, he's talking simple strategies in terms of your health, physical health itself, and then coming as a, not physiotherapist, but sports scientist, right? Sports doctor.
right.
He's got
Yeah.
that background to be able to speak to us from. Yeah. My bad.
Ooh,
That's who I
the
forgot.
lineup is phenomenally amazing. So, guys,
I'm like,
more information. We're definitely going to get the information from Grace afterwards, and then we can put it down in the comment section so you can, just peep through, see, your availability and what have you. And good morning to TC. Thank you so much for tuning in, TC. Always tuning in, and hopefully this information is useful to you as well, or share with your friends around. Those who will be traveling. And when exactly is it going to be? Because it's like we've been talking about it, but then how can people prepare for it? When can people prepare for it? When is it going to be?
So it's at the end of September. So September 29th, if you're leaving, September 28th, sorry, it's a Sunday. If you're leaving
Okay.
from Joburg, from Gaborone, so you'll have a full business tour.
Mm,
That Glam Tours in Botswana is organizing for us. So you can do a business
mm,
tour of Gaborone, meet some businesses along the way. You'll have dinner there, sleep. Those are the guys
mm,
joining on the 28th, and then they'll drive up. So from Francistown, if you wanted to join from Francistown, that's on the 29th. You'll join the
mm,
group there, have lunch, and then they'll head out to the Makarigari Salt Springs. They'll sleep under the stars there, and then the next morning, the people that are joining on the 30th, they'll join from Vic
mm,
Falls, and we'll head
mm,
into the conference center together on the 30th, and then until October 2nd, we're together, and then drop off back in Victoria Falls. And so for people wanting to register, it's on the website, deservegrace.com. So little ticky box things. So you tick your options, what you want, whether it's all inclusive or you want to find your own accommodation with 3 other guys. There's lots of really affordable accommodation there in Chobe, Airbnbs, booking.com. And then the conference fees there, and then we'll create an invoice for you, and then you submit your payment once you receive the invoice. So it's on the website, and then also on deservegrace.com, and it's on our Facebook page on Lion Hearts of Africa, on that Facebook page as well.
mm.
There's a link to the Google Forms as well.
Right. No, that is awesome. So also for support, right? How can you share some of the no, actually, how can you commute? Oh yeah, how can communities, families, or even spouses be part of the movement, right? Because for the most part, it is for the for men's mental health. I mean, men's health more than anything.
Absolutely.
But then for women to come through and say, I am coming to support my spouse. I am coming to support. Oh, I want to come with my family more than anything. How can they do that? And is there like a family package that's a bit more worth bringing a family rather than coming by yourself and all that fun stuff?
Absolutely. And because it's an hour from Vic Falls and there's so much to do, that's why we actually ended up opening up the conference only package. So then people could get their accommodation, come with their whole family, and then, just the man or the boys could head out to the conference
Oh,
during the
nice.
day, be there for dinner, and then after dinner leave and then rejoin their family. And that
Mhm.
was a big part of that, right? Because we do want everyone to make those decisions individually. So, if someone wants to go and they're like, oh, I don't know, being with a random, because we were talking about this yesterday. I've gone to so many conferences where I've carpooled with people that I met at the car, right? It's like, we're
Oh,
meeting here
really?
and this is where we're going. And you'll drive like 3-4 hours with perfect strangers. I can do that, but not everybody can. Right.
Oh,
And so,
trust me. I totally get you. This one time when we went to, was it last year? It was last year when we went to Mexico, right? We went on a cruise or
yeah.
whatever. And then you're booking you're booking what you want to do and what have you, right? And you're like, oh, okay. When I got there, they're like, oh yeah, some of you have, I had the buggy package, what we were
Yeah.
like seeing the whole of Mexico, downtown Mexico, what have you, right? And some people were coming as a family, couples, what have you, and they're like, oh yeah, did you come with anybody? I was like, nope. They're like,
No.
huh? You're actually so bold. I was like, nope. I would rather come on, pair me up with your families. Let's see. And we ended up creating, relationships, right? People who
Absolutely.
actually live in the States and what have you. And then
Yes.
you kind of get to know about them and what have. I I love meeting people. Like I
I
am
do
that
too. Yeah.
extroverted, right? And to me, it's like, yo, this is how you meet people. Get out of your comfort zone. I think, well, for me,
Yes.
that's my comfort zone. For some people, it's like, yo, how can I talk to strangers? I'm like, I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, just take a walk, man, and then meet people, laugh, talk, just make a comment, like the weather's beautiful out
Exactly.
today. And
Hmm. That black shirt is really outstanding on your brown skin.
but that's it,
Girl,
right?
that
And then we
V-neck is doing it for you, you know?
exactly. But wow, that is a phenomenal. I love that. I love that. And bravo to you. And even just,
Hmm.
being bold enough to say, you know what, we're going to be doing this event back in Africa and what have you. Because a lot of people are like, oh, no, but why
Hmm.
Africa? Why can't you do it here where you have more resources? Not even more resources,
Yeah.
accessible resources, I guess. Right. A
No,
bit
and
more
for
accessible.
me, absolutely. Because I used to
Right.
do these for my clients, right? Not overnight,
Yeah.
but all the different workshops used to do them for my clients, right? Putting them
Mm,
together, bringing them in front of professionals from different fields, right?
yeah.
So much easier to do here because people know who I am here, right? But to be
Hmm.
able to do it there where nobody knows who I am, really grateful for Kalafi for partnering with us because at least all the invoices are going through them. So no one's like sitting there worried about Grace ate my money and I don't even know who she is, right? So
Exactly.
so hopefully, we're hoping year 2, year 3, it's easier because maybe someone you met last year from Malawi and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Jibram again, or Kuda's coming down from Mozambique and he's like, oh, can't wait to meet Enos again. Like, we're hoping that over the years it becomes this annual tradition. And
Mm,
then it continues to grow as your networks grow, right? And you invite more people to come out with you and stuff.
right. No, that is awesome. So regarding personal and leadership journey, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced organizing such a large initiative, seeing that this is also like an inaugural event and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hopefully you mentioned hopefully it's going to be an annual thing. So what are the biggest
Yes.
challenges that you had to face? And because it's not easy
Right.
to put
Mm-mm.
together something for people in different countries coming together. So there must have been challenges on that one.
Yes, absolutely. No, I do love I've got to give a shout out to Jim Rem from Malawi. His energy,
Mm,
and
mm,
I actually met him. So what happened was through my trip in Africa, right? I'd met different people, and so I reached out to a lady in Malawi whose Airbnb I'd stayed at. I knew she was involved with like orphanages and a bunch of things. And I said to her, "This is what we're doing. We're looking for someone in the mental health space. Ideally from Malawi. It's called the Heart of Africa, right? So it makes sense.
mm,
And so reached out to her and she was like, oh yeah, I've got, this person, he's doing a lot of work. Like he's on the TV in Malawi a lot. Like he's a host, he's an MC, he's all over the place. And his energy was just so
mm,
amazing, and so receptive. And I loved it when she connected me. He's like, how'd you find out about me? Da, 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 and it was just like, this is it. And so it really took, like, even Auntie Patty, I knew her from when I went to university in Chicago years ago, reached out to her, said, hey, we're doing this. My sister, she's married in Namibia. I said to her, we
mm,
need an MC. We're looking for someone ideally from Namibia or Angola or something. And she was like, oh, there's this comedian. So it just came and I'm thankful for
mm.
the connections that we had to be able to reach out and make these networks. But then I'm also thankful for the ones that just came out, like
Right.
Dr. Mapesa. He's on a group called Seats of Africa, and they're Seat of
Mm,
Africa. And so they're creating, I want to say like a regional, not a regional, an African network of medical specialists that are really engaged in digital technologies and advancing medicine in Africa. Right. That's what they're
mm,
doing. And he was the connection there from Zim and being able to reach out to him and be like, Dr. Mapesa, can you? And he was just so like, absolutely, Dr. Chagonda. I'm on an NGO in Zimbabwe called Tambai and Tambai
mm.
Africa. And so Tambai Zimbabwe. And so I'm on their board of directors. And so they work on sport development through sport. So, when
Right.
you've got an initiative that you're running, whether it's like, booster shots, malaria, whatever, and you're doing it in a community. So they'll bring sport there to encourage people to participate. Right. And so being
Right.
able to reach out to that team and say, hey guys, I'm looking for someone in the fitness area. That's how we got connected to Dr. Chagonda. And he was so sweet. Right. So
Mm,
I think the things that would have been hard were just made easy by people and connections,
mm.
which is exactly
Yeah.
what we're trying to drive. You know what I mean?
Right.
To be able to say, I'm doing business in this country. I need to be able to reach out to someone. Where do I even start? You know?
Mm,
And so that's what we're trying to drive, right? Is that kind of community, because it makes what should be difficult, it makes it easier.
mm. Ooh, we love that. And of course, I think this is something that people should take out of this conversation, if anything, if they didn't take out anything. Networking is really important. Connections are really important. They actually make your life a lot easy, especially when you have no clue on some parts of the moving pieces, because you definitely don't know all the parts of the moving pieces in anything that you're doing. So bravo to you, Grace,
you.
for that. And also, as you were preparing for, this conference, as a woman leading a men's health initiative, how has that shaped your perspective and leadership abilities more than anything?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. We've
Mm,
had some really vulnerable conversations with
yeah,
some of the men, right? Like a lot of the
yeah.
edits you see on YouTube, they're 2 minutes out of like 20, 30-minute conversations, right? And there's a lot happening in this world. I always quote Solomon. He says, there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Hmm.
And legit, there's nothing new under the sun. Just change the language.
It's actually written in the Bible. Nothing is new under the sun, really, to be
Yeah.
honest. But
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so that's the one thing. But we all struggle in darkness by ourselves. Why?
mm,
We've got to stop doing that.
mm,
And so for me, it doesn't matter what the shell looks like.
mm.
We're all just like little 6-year-olds.
I know. I
So
know.
appeal to the 6-year-old that wanted to play in the playground, that was like fearless and wanted to just talk to anyone. No one is
Mm.
unapproachable.
I think for people, think about when you're a child, you haven't experienced
No.
anything or much, if I should
Yeah.
put it
Or
that way.
rejection or anything that's strong. Yeah.
Rejection, trauma, whatever level of trauma, you haven't
You don't know who's
experienced it,
important and who's not.
and you don't care.
Yeah.
You understand? And then also the whole perception of, oh, a child is innocent and all that weird stuff, and there's lots of cuteness and this is cute. Versus when you're grown, when you're an adult, it's like, oh, this person should have done that. They should know better. So there's lots of judgment. There's lots of based off of, trauma. It brings so much judgment. And then now people live in fear of, what
Yeah.
if Grace says this about me? What if Grace sees this about me? And which reminds me of a post that I saw on, Lindsay Matrona. She's
Yes.
like, yes, a phenomenal woman. And she posted, why should you care about voices that are not edifying you, that are not growing you, that are, live like a child, and don't be afraid to let out that voice, the inner voice that you
Exactly.
have. It's one of those where, I don't know, I think people overthink stuff, and
Yes.
not living like a child limits you more than anything, right? It's just overthinking stuff and what have you. But I don't know. It is so profound that you actually brought that up. And I don't know if a lot of people think about it in that sense or in that aspect, but it's more of, oh, what will Grace think of this? What will Amanda think of this, right? So
yeah, you got to appeal to my inner 6-year-old.
that's it. That's it. And not care and not think and not just make the most of every second, and fall if you must, so you can, grow, rather than
Yes.
think it's a fail more than anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, love it. But with that being said, though, also, how does your personal journey tie into the work that you're doing right now? We kind of spoke about it in the beginning, but then now moving forward, right? Because you just decided, I am just going to leave the corporate world, the 9 to 5 type of thing, and then I'm going to start my own thing. How hard was that? Because sometimes people overthink things when they want to do that jump, right? And how was it for you?
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to what you just said about, don't think about what other people will think about you. Like, you used to stand in the bus, waiting 20 minutes in -40 weather with my 3 kids, taking them to school on the bus in Edmonton. And people would probably be like, lady, get a car, But it's like, I knew I needed to be off, the rat race. And so I couldn't invest in a car. You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
have 20,000 to give to vehicle expenses in a year. I've got
Which, by the
$85
way,
for a
is a
bus pass every month.
liability. Which, by the way, is a liability. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Right?
Hello? Oh, man. Mr. Mask, please do not do this to us. We still need grace. Oh, there we go.
You've
Yes,
done so
yes.
well.
Sorry, we kind of lost you for a
Yeah,
second
no,
there.
I was saying just understanding from when I started work what the end goal was. So it's been 17 years of planning for this. And so for me, it was all these conscientious decisions. Like when we built our house, it needed to have a basement suite to make sure that, we've got the additional income coming from there. We did rentals, you kept your investments on the market. And, I kept 6 months of, cash for starting the business. And unfortunately, I've needed 2 years of income.
Oh, wow.
So, we're getting there. But for sure, for me, as long as we're doing like financial, personal, and there's travel included, and I'm working with new ideas and helping businesses, I'm happy. Right? It's all about that idea and supporting entrepreneurs wherever they are in their journey. Because the Bible says that each of us has been given a measure of faith, right? And I think
Yep.
I have like the craziest allotment, so I can listen to crazy ideas and be like, that can still work, that can still
Exactly.
work. So
Nothing is crazy. Like you said, nothing
nothing
is
is
new under the
crazy.
sun. Nothing
Well,
is
because it's in
crazy.
your head, right? God gave you
Yeah.
that specific vision. So I'm here to
Right.
help you get to that vision. We're cool. We get
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
so with my business training, my MBA training, I have my BS's in economics, so I can help you, right? I've got the complete toolkit. And so being able to bring it together for me is huge. And as long as I can travel while doing it, it's great. So
Love
I think
it.
that's how, it really came together well from the beginning. And it's not even full circle because I always say I'm in my 40s. I've got like another 40 years to live,
Right. If not another 60 years, but I'm
You
just
know what I'm
saying.
saying? Yeah, my grandmother just passed away at 107, right?
Oh,
So
I'm sorry,
I've got
but good for
45 years
her.
or 55 years, 65 years at that rate. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
we're nowhere. And the Bible says we're guaranteed 70 at full strength, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean
Yeah.
70 and then you die. No, it's 70 at full strength, my guy.
Mm.
But it just comes down to how we take care of ourselves whether we get to 70 at full strength, right? So
Right.
I've still got at least 30 years to go on that note. So I can't say I've
Exactly.
come full circle, but everything is really coming together.
Ooh, Charlie, I like that. I like that. I love it. But here's like something to lighten the tone, lighten down the tone today's conversation, just to lighten the mood. Here are some interesting, fun questions. One word to describe what drives you. Just one word. We've been getting so many mic
Peace.
drops here.
I'm going to say peace.
Ooh, why
Yeah.
peace?
Again, the Bible says, what is it about hope? Hope deferred makes the heart weak, and we can only have peace when we're living our best lives. I don't want you to have heartbreak. I want you to be depressed. We're just in here to find peace. That's all it's about.
I like that. I love with the backup. I love the backup. I love the backup. We ought to live with backup. Like what? Psalms 119, verse 11. Your word that you keep in your heart, the word that you keep in his heart, that you may not sin against him, so you can meditate on his words day and night, really. Yeah. So I love that. I love it. I love it. And another question. Chobe Safari or Big Falls Day Trip? What's your
Chobe.
pick?
Wait, unless we do Livingston, not Vic Falls. Livingston has way more. Zambia side has way more things to do that are fun. Vic Falls is like
Are you
bougie.
serious?
Vic Falls is so bougie on the Zim side. It's for the tourist who doesn't have like Tivas. I'm a hiker, right? I want to do off grid. I want to do stupid things. Livingston is for that. Whereas Vic Falls, it's just too bougie. That's why I'm like Chobe. If you're giving me Vic Falls, I'll go with Chobe. Yeah.
Ooh, okay,
No, I'm so sorry, Zimbabweans.
Well, it is what it is, man. And yeah, tea or coffee to keep you going while planning?
My logo is a coffee cup. It's coffee. That's actually like the thing that I will do. I'm looking forward to exporting coffee from Zim to Canada on a subscription
Oh.
basis because our coffee is amazing. Our coffee is just
Mm,
fresh and amazing. To be able to bring it as green bean, roast it once a month, and sell it, you will
yeah.
have beautiful, fresh coffee in your cup. Not this dehydrated stuff that's been on the shelf for 2 years. No offense.
Oh my gosh, that is so hilarious. Okay, so we're on the lookout for that one. We're definitely
Great.
waiting for that one. And then, if you had to choose a theme song for this conference, what would it be?
I guess I'll go with techno. Enjoy. The song that says, allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy.
Check you out. Yeah,
That's one of my
allow me
favorite
to
songs,
enjoy
actually.
myself.
Yeah.
Yes. Or even, I'm thinking, which other song? No, 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 no. What you call it? I think not leave your life. No, not that one. But something along those.
Yeah.
Something
That's
along
my
those lines.
theme song for my life like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
together. Yeah. My kids are irritating me. I'll just put it on and like blast it.
Oh my gosh. It's like, Mom,
Allow
stop.
me to enjoy myself.
Yes, allow me to enjoy myself. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. We love
That's it.
that. And last but not least, what's one message you'd like every man in Africa to hear today?
You're doing good. If nobody else tells you that, just hear it from me and trust me. You're doing good. You're doing more than good.
Holy,
Yeah.
straight to the point. You didn't even need to think about that.
I don't know why some people doubt themselves. You're doing great. Keep going. You know?
Really?
Like we struggle with
I
drug
think
abuse and
because
all
we
that
live in a
because of
world, maybe because we live
insecurity.
in a world where people think doing good is the
Yes.
numbers, the figures, like, oh, I have to be this at this certain level for me
Hmm.
to be considered I'm doing good.
Exactly. But you know what? You're doing good. Like
Wow.
just waking up, leaving
Wow.
your house, you're doing amazing. You know?
I
You're
like
doing
that.
great.
Get a dose of grace, deserve grace. You need grace. Go to www guys. There you go. Where are we? Where are we?
Deservegrace.com. Keep it
There we
simple.
go. Uh-uh. We need
There
this.
you
We
go.
need this. And guys, you are actually doing great. Don't let
Hmm.
anybody tell you otherwise because
Including yourself.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because I know we live in a world where there's lots of competition on social media. There's lots of, oh, yeah, who's got the numbers? Who's got the zeros? Who's got extra zeros over the other? And all that fun stuff, right? But
Yeah.
just waking up on its own is a blessing more than
Hmm.
anything. A lot of people, they're just not waking up, to be
Yeah.
honest, without even being sick or anything.
Hmm.
But it is a blessing just to wake up and just that's just doing great on your own, on its own, really.
Hmm.
But Grace, thank you so much for that, and just a moment with you. It's been a pleasure, it's been an honor, it's been a lot of learning.
Thank you
More
so
than
much.
anything,
I
it's been a
really
blessing, and I
appreciate it.
just wish your conference a success and more to your growth more than anything. But as we wrap up though,
Mm,
what's your like heartfelt invitation? You've said so many jams, you've said mic drop statements and all that fun stuff, but
I know.
we just want something that's heartfelt, and your heartfelt invitation to our listeners who might be
Mhm,
considering attending the conference, because some people who didn't even know about it, who are actually
mhm.
visiting Africa around that time, who knows, right? Although I know some
Yeah.
for people out here, it's schools are opening and stuff like that, which may not be the case, but then at the
Mhm.
same time could be the case, right? So, what's your heartfelt invitation to our listeners who might be considering attending the conference and supporting this movement?
Mhm. Um, well, as my network continues to cut, I think biggest thing, Dr. Tendai Marisa from Africa Giving, which is an organization where 10% of the proceeds of the conference are going to.
Mm,
He said it's important for men. We're not going to go do medical checkups. You're not going to do all that, but take this time as an opportunity for yourself. to be able to have an excuse to step away from work and come into an environment like this. Do it for yourself, if anything. And at the end of the day, you're meeting others along the region. So if you need to convince yourself that there's a business reason to do this, there you go. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself as a man to just be able to step away from the noise and step into grace and just really, be with one another.
Ooh, we love that. We love that. That is, something that I hope a lot of people will pay attention to, take with today, if they didn't take anything out of this conversation. But I'm sure they took a lot, because I did take a lot. I am so passionate about, our men out there, because like you said, there's lots of, not being paid attention to after the girl child has been paid attention to and been empowered and all that fun stuff. And then now we're focusing on empowering our men. And this is amazing. So all the information, we'll definitely put it down below in the comments. And thank you so much, Grace. We love it. Please do send me that information so we can put it on all the social streams, like on our social streaming platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, so people can get all that information. So with that being said, thank you for coming through, Grace. It's been amazing. And thank you for sharing your heart and your vision with us today. We love it. And we just wish you success in the conference. To our listeners, remember that health and wellness are not just personal. They are generational, because what you show your kids, what you do is what you show your kids. So if you'd like to be a part of the Lion Hearts of Africa Men's Conference 2025, visit the registration page. Go on for more information. Go on here where it says deservegrace.com, and then you can get more information from there, or even follow Grace on her social platforms. We're definitely going to put more information like down below on the in our comments. But with that being said, until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And Grace, thank you so much for your time this morning. I see the sun is kissing your face already. I am so ready to get out too. I need to go and lift my weights, baby. And yes.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate you elevating our voice using your platform.
Oh, thank you so much. And I hope we're doing it. We're doing our best, really, to be honest. And I hope a lot of people get to learn a lot from every guest that comes through. But no, we appreciate it. Have a wonderful long weekend. It is a long weekend for some of us who still have 8 to 5s. But yes, we are actually. No, thank you so much, Grace. I'll be in touch with you, and then you can give me more information, and then we'll put it down below. Alrighty, I'm gonna let you go, my love. You take care, and God bless you. And to everybody else, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this amazing interview on After5 Radio, your favorite online. Geez, I can't even speak to save my life right now, because I am looking at Grace's son and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to get out. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to After5 Radio, your favorite online radio station that's celebrating Africans out here in the diaspora. If you haven't already, please make sure that hello, where are we? Actually, here we are. Please do make sure that you actually subscribe to our YouTube channel down below here on the ticker, and hit the like button and share this episode with your friends and family. Today's interview was very fruitful. It had so many gems, mic drop statements, and what have you. So please do share this interview, and we're going to put links for more information for those who are actually in Africa at the moment, and those who are looking, to learn more on men's health more than anything, for you, how to attend the men's conference that's going to be in Chobe, Botswana. Actually, I saw somebody asking on Instagram saying, where is it going to be? I hope they got our response from there. It is actually going to be in Chobe. So please do come through if you can. So until next time, guys, stay blessed, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep celebrating the culture. This is your host, aka the Hype Lady, Miss Tando Amy, signing off with so much love. Cheers, take care, and God bless you. Mwah. Bye, Grace.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.
We are
Africans.